Hi, this is Ellie Fishman, and welcome to our Facebook Live. And I'd like to welcome everybody who I don't see at the moment. So you notice we did not have a topic this week, so it's probably a good time to ask questions. I will have some stuff to discuss with you, but anytime anybody has any questions, it's a good time to ask questions. So let's get started. But maybe one thing I would speak about, that just to see if some of you have the same experience, we've at Hopkins, and this is probably true in many places because I read a lot about it in the newspapers, we have this precision medicine initiative at Hopkins. And I think precision medicine is really nothing new. I mean, obviously, we're always trying to do precision medicine for the last 3 million years, right? That's just, how can you do things really, really well? Obviously, now there's so many moving parts within medicine. The question is, could you take all of those moving parts and kind of get it to move in one direction? And so there are a number of centers of excellence at Hopkins, or maybe this precision medicine is a better term. And so we have this precision medicine in pancreatic cancer, which I'm part of. And there was a retreat this past week. And again, you could see that one of the challenges is that people are doing a lot of things on the cellular side, on the genetic side, through all the pathology, through surgery, through oncology, through vaccines, through radiology, cinematic rendering, radiomics, AI, are all things that you can think about we're doing. And in fact, when I spoke, I gave one of the talks about imaging. One of the things I commented on is perhaps, we've put a lot of effort into CT, let's say, which is the gold standard, and we do well. We went from thinner slices and faster scanners and dual phase acquisitions, post-processing, volume rendering, MIP, and the like, all things that are critical for early diagnosis, accurate staging, and patient management. But then how do you get to the next level? And perhaps we're just limited by what we can see on imaging. But radiomics, we have some really good results here in Park, Linda Chu, Satomi Kawamoto, showing a very high accuracy in the high 90s to separate tumor from non-tumor. Seung Park presented some work on being able to predict outcomes based on radiomics. So I think one of the things that it's very important, of course, is that as we go to things like precision medicine, that radiology is part of that precision medicine initiative, because it's very easy for radiology to be left behind, because sometimes people think, well, radiology is just doing a bunch of images and some studies, and you're not really part of the process going forward and process of discovery. And I think it's very important for people to understand that we are very truly part of the discovery. So, for example, I'm just looking down and reading from the program the other day. We had these talks on personalized cancer vaccine, the targeting the Achilles heel of aneuploidy. Then it was me speaking about deep learning and 3D imaging and radiomics. And then there was someone else on Project Genie looking at genomics, then molecular drivers of invasion and hereditary pancreatic cancer, molecular pathology in pancreatic cancer. And it goes on and on from there. So you could see it's very important for radiology to be aggressive. You need to have people who are interested, not just reading the scans, which is very critical, but then looking at the next direction. And that's why I see one of the questions AJ Agarwal asked about AI in radiology. I think AI is critical for radiology. I don't think it's something to worry about that, oh my God, we're going to be out of jobs, we're going to be flipping burgers or whatever else you do if you're not a radiologist. I don't think that's really going to be a danger. I think you will be in risk of being replaced if you refuse to use AI. Remember, radiology is a not inconsequential misinterpretation rate, misdiagnosis rate. We need to improve on our ability to detect things earlier and better. And I think we need to look at the radiomics and the AI specifically as a sort of a word to cover everything. We need to use AI as a way of improving our accuracy, as a way of improving our impact on patient care and on patient management. So I think the AI is critical for us. In fact, we need to figure out how to get AI to move faster. We can't wait. And AI is having a big impact in pathology. It's going to have a big impact on selecting management of care and directions of care for patients in and outside of radiology. So it's not something that's going away, and it's something we need to escalate. It becomes very, very important that we're at the front end and really driving the process, trying to answer the questions we know we have trouble with, and then pushing the researchers to answer the important questions for us. So I think that's very important. And I think it's really the way to go forward. I think these, we talk about multidisciplinary conferences, a way of going over cases and how we interact with our clinicians. And, we don't have the days anymore with view boxes where people came by 20 times a day. Everyone can see the images themselves. Unless you provide added value, there's not a whole lot of value to you because they can look at the films as well. And also, with teleradiology companies, somebody 3,000 miles away can see the films as quickly as you can. Somebody could be sitting in Colorado doing a little else, but looking out the window and then reading a few films. And if all reports are the same, if you don't have added value, if you're doing teleradiology for your own practice during the day, it's one thing doing teleradiology at 3 in the morning, but what about 3 in the afternoon or 9 in the morning? If you're just twiddling around, reading the films, collecting a check, you're going to be run over. Maybe you deserve to be run over in that regard. Let's see, looking at the list here. Hey, I see Ava is on, and I see Lydiana's on. So we got people from Baltimore and people from Houston, Texas. I think we need to have a Sirius channel, not like being serious, but like Sirius, SIRIUS. We can have our own show on Sirius with all the other people. So I think that becomes very important. I was looking and trying to figure out what else, just some of the things to talk about today. And I've been doing some work. I have to give a talk tomorrow, which is Friday, and on Saturday in Boston at this major pancreas meeting from clinical oncology and Lustgarten Foundation, Stand Up to Cancer. So I was speaking a bit about imaging. I'm the only talk in the 3 days on imaging, which is an honor to do that. Most of the other talks are going to be pathology or genetics and things of a similar bend. Excuse me, I forgot my water. But anyway, I was reading some articles. I need to prepare some other talks and upgrade talks. So the latest data on pancreatic cancer, median age of diagnosis is age 70. We know that. Pancreatic cancer, estimated new cases 2018, 55,440. Estimated deaths, 44,330. Thank you very much, Sarah. Got the water. This is like being in the desert with Moses. You're thirsty, you get water. You can see that when you look at the list, and this is SEER data, the most common cancer is breast cancer, 266,000, but there's 40,000 cancer deaths from breast cancer and 44,000 from pancreatic cancer. And the only thing on my list that's worse right now is going to be lung cancer and colon cancer. And fortunately, colon cancer, there's lots of new therapies, detection. That's 50,000, 44,000 for pancreatic cancer. There's no doubt in a couple of years, if nothing changes, pancreatic cancer will be passing colon cancer and be number 2. So we really need to figure out some solutions. The current survival, 8.5% at 5 years. So there is some improvement. Typically, we would say 7%, and the last SEER data were in 7%. So chemotherapy and the fact that we are using chemotherapy more before surgery, the fact that surgery is better, more people are potentially surgical, but the only way to change those numbers is really early detection, and things like using AI will indeed be very important in that regard. And 8.5 is just a terrible, terrible set of numbers. Any recommended app for CT? So I assume Fawaz is asking about apps. So the answer is yes. It's, I guess, a plug for us. We have 16 apps in the App Store. We're about to release, I'm doing the final testing of our latest CTisus quiz. which will be 6 months more quizzes. It's a really good upgrade. I should finish it literally over the weekend, and we'll have it submitted to the Apple Store next week. We've done updated apps on the foot and the hand. We've done an updated app a few weeks ago, barely a few weeks ago. iPearls, thousands of interesting facts for you. We have a new app on the iLecture series, which again added a whole lot of lectures. So, and we have Sarah's in a very nice interface. You can track what you've looked at. You can track what you haven't looked at, what you finished, what you've started. So we're doing that. We're also building out an app for RSNA with Hannah Rector. Hope I said her name right, not Rector. Someone just saying the name right. The app is on the lumbar spine, how to use the, looking at sagittal views of the lumbar spine. How can you be better in diagnosis, looking at things from morphology, to density, to shape, to infiltration. So it should be a terrific app. It's going to have probably 100 cases, roughly. A lot of pearls, a lot of discussion, a lot of audio, and it'll be at RSNA. So you'll be able to download it after RSNA. We're going to have it finished in time for RSNA. So that'll be good. So we are doing that. Let me see, any other questions? Let's see, so in terms of other apps, I think we have like 16 apps on the iPad, but 9 of them are on the iPhone. We will, some of them, as you know, we update. The quiz is about our 20th update, but if anyone has any other ideas for apps, we are always willing to entertain that. I am trying to think about a little bit more of the checklist that we've done before, how to do that. We are trying to do a bunch of work. So in terms of education, since the question of AI came up, on CTisus now we have a whole section on the front page on AI, and I've been working with NVIDIA to have them give us a lot of their lectures on basis of AI, also a lot of their dictionaries, to really help build out our section. We are putting up the references from the articles published, discussion, trying to really build out this AI section. So if you go to CTisus, you look at the front page. If you're online, it's a big section, and it's still not perfect because when you're building something, it takes a while to really build it correctly because we're constantly learning what works best. That works very nicely. Someone's asking, Fawaz is asking the name of the app. The easiest thing is go to the Apple Store, right, the App Store from Apple, and if you type in CTisus, or you type in my name, Elliot Fishman, all the apps will come up. So you can see them, there's 16 of them, and then you can download them from there. And again, we're not charging anything for the app, so you still need an Apple account, because you always need an Apple account just to get on the App Store. But once you're on the App Store, just look up CTisus or look up Elliot Fishman, and you will find the app. And I think the app, so our newest app is one app on a quiz on pancreas. If you want the app on the quizzes in general, it's iQuiz, CTisus iQuiz, CTisus iLecture, which is all the lectures. The spine one you're going to have to wait for, I think that's just going to be about 6 weeks away, no more than that. So we'll be able to fill that in. Other things in terms of just some of the things we are working on, we are putting a lot of effort into really trying to build radiology out into just like on the AI side. As we get really good, Alan Yulee and his team, 90% plus rate for detection, then radiomics for classifying better, and then we'll have to go in and look at the patient's outcomes. We are doing that now with neuroendocrine tumors, so we're looking at 150 neuroendocrine tumors, different grades, trying to see if radiomics can predict what grade. And so do you need to leave patients alone, or do you need to operate? This whole idea of management can indeed be something that we do find to be very helpful, and we're going to do that. We're doing that right now, and I know the surgeons are bugging us to have it done, or at least some really good data by October 1st or September 30th. October 1st is a deadline for one of their major meetings. So we're trying to get that done, and I'm pretty sure we will. Those are kind of the main things. If anyone has any questions, I could do a couple of questions really quickly. I think, someone, when you ask questions about the Apple Store, obviously we're big fans and supporters of Apple for many, many years, of course. And I think one thing that I find problematic on the Apple Store is it's just like a whole bunch of things thrown together. You can go to medicine, but then there's 10,000 apps. So it's very hard to really get anything or figure out how to control things. And there's typically no evaluation. So an app may have a great title, but it may suck. And may not have a great title, it may be really good. So I think that's one of the problems. Sometimes you have to download apps and say, oh, this is terrible. And you have to delete it. You need to have like the thumbs up, thumbs down thing. But I don't think anyone's willing to do that. Well, that seems to be our time. And again, we are here. Today's Thursday. It's 1 o'clock. We will be doing Thursdays at 1 o'clock. Unless someone comes up with a better reason. It's a good time, I think. There's no great time. All of us are busy all the time. But when you get down to it, this is probably as good as it's going to get. So with that, I wish everybody a happy week. We'll see you on CTisus Facebook. We'll see you on CTisus website. We'll see you on CTisus Instagram. We'll see you on CTisus Twitter. We'll see you on CTisus YouTube. We're everywhere all the time, and we're trying to get better. And with that, have a great day.